gallabuxur í flottu úrvali. Þátturinn í boði Jóð.
Við höldum áfram að tala blaki í þessum þætti og við ætlum að skipta yfir á ensku því hérna komin til mín leikmenn úr Karlalið KA. Welcome to the show. This is the first time we're talking English in this show. Miguel, you are both the coach of the women's team and a player for the men's team.
Yes, exactly. I came here, it's my first season, and I'm the coach of the girls and I'm player for the boys.
And Mason, you are in your second season here.
Yeah, it's my second season in KA. I'm originally from the Baltimore area in Maryland, from USA, but I decided to come back to KA for a second year, and I like Iceland and the team here, so yeah, it was an easy choice for me.
The volleyball culture here in Iceland, it's much smaller than from Spain and the States.
Yeah, the U.S. is it's kind of spread out. Where I'm from, volleyball is not particularly common for the men's, at least, but there are some areas it's growing. Particularly in California and some of the northern states.
Yeah, it's happened a bit the same in Spain, right? There's now in Spain really famous the beach volley, right? There's a lot of tournaments almost every weekend. Right, and about indoor, I think it happened the same, right? Depends where are you living, right? Is more important or not that important. In the middle of Spain, it's not that important, but if you go to the coast, it's been a bit important. Yeah.
Okay, so you have it depends on your location. You have volleyball is big here, but not all around the country.
Exactly, it's like this. Right, exactly in Spain, for example, if you go to some good teams, right in the middle of Spain, they don't have a lot of viewers, but if you go, for example, to the coast to some sport house, like 2,000, 3,000 watching the games. Okay. So it's quite different.
But now the men's team, it has been really successful for the last years, and now there are 2 titles, one upcoming, hopefully. The culture here in KA, how are you liking it?
It's really good. We're working hard in the training, but also we have a good time. And I think me and Mateo and a lot of the older guys just try to show the younger group that we can have a good time, but we want to improve and work on our game as well.
Yes, like he said, right? We have some strong players in the team, and this is why we are getting this kind of titles. But we are lucky because now we have some young players, really young players, that they can have a lot of possibilities for the future. So we have a mix of good players and young players that they can grow up a lot to get these titles in the future.
Yeah. They were talking about you came from Neskastaður and you took 2 players with you. It was a 3-for-1 deal. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I came from Neskastaður. It was a really good year last year, and now it's my girlfriend, his girlfriend, and me. We are here, and I think that we are making a big difference. And in the girls' team, both of them, they are really important. Absolutely. So yeah, it was a big deal for KA.
And last year, the women's team in KA, they ended in the bottom, winning 2 games. Now they lost 2 games. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, before the season, around May, June, I was talking with KA people about to come here, and the main thing about them was we want to change the girls, right? Need to change, right? Because we want to push the volleyball up, right? And we need to change the girls. So I was completely agree. I offer myself coach, right? To change make it a bit more professional, right? Work hard, and I think that it's working. Also, there's some players that they didn't want to play some years ago, right? Like Elma and Birna, for example. And this year they saw the atmosphere was completely different, and they decided to play and decided to make also a bit of difference.
Yeah, so you didn't storm into the first practice and, of course, we are going to take all the titles that are available.
I didn't say like this, but I say, okay, something is going to change here. No, we can have fun, but we are going to have fun working.
Yeah, so success, it comes after. You need to work hard, and the titles come if you...
Exactly, because you can know how are you going to work, but you can hand what is the other team is doing. So it's like I'm going to do my work 110%. After that, if the other teams are working better than me or they have better players, they will win. But I'm going to do my 100%. And this team, the girls' team, are working like this. They are working really hard, and we are winning. Yeah. So go together.
Mason, 3 titles last year. 2 you've won 2 already. You must want the 3rd one again.
Yeah, it would be nice to repeat. You know, I had a friend of mine here last year, and he really helped us a lot from the U.S. also. But you know, we're a different team now. I think this year we're a much more balanced team. But the feeling is still there. Like you know, after this last season, we expected you know, to win again. Like, you know, of course we have to work, but we don't want, like, anything less than 3 titles would be a disappointment for us. So, you know, coming into the year, you know, the returning players, we knew what we wanted, and the new guys like Mateo and Kiri and some other guys, like, they quickly came on board with our goals as a team. So,
if you take us through the practice, on pitch and off pitch, how is the training weekend for KA?
It's good. Our coach is very experienced in volleyball. He's from Poland, and he's been playing probably as long as we've been alive. So you know, it's good to have someone with so much experience and has played at such a high level, just to bring a new perspective to us. You know, in Spain and in the USA, we're playing a certain way, and I think he kind of helps us. You know, he's like, you know, tells us maybe try it this way, and you know, it's always good to have someone with new perspectives and that's pushing us to do our best. So,
what do your family and friends say at home when you told them I'm going to Neskupstaðir and I'm going to Akureyri in Iceland to play volleyball?
Mine was really fun because I remember, like, okay, it's possible I'm going to Iceland, to one place, the name is Neskupstaðir. My family went to Google and saw it, like, in Google Maps, like straight the village, and was like, Miguel, do you know where you're going? Right? It's like all the time darkness, and after it's so small, you're going to get crazy. There's like, no, I'm going to, and it was an awesome year, right? Because the people there was, the Icelandic people, right? It's awesome, like we felt like in a family, so it was really good. I feel really good, like, here in Iceland. This is why I repeat here in Iceland, right? And it's possible that hopefully in the future I will repeat here again. So I can say nothing bad about the Icelandic people or Neskupstaðir.
Yeah, and for me it was similar. You know, I was out of school. Of course, I played volleyball in university, but I was kind of just getting a feeling for what my next step was, and I got an email about the opportunity to come here, so for me, I didn't think twice. I decided to come, and I think I got the email like 6 a.m. and for some reason I checked, you know, my phone, and then I was just awake. You know, it was so exciting for me, and ever since I came here, everyone in Akureyri has been great, and just the Icelandic people in general are just so welcoming.
Sussex, it's a mixture of all kinds of things. It's the practice, it's the players, it's the management, the coaches, everything. And KA has managed to get a lot of good players here. Would you think, where would you put Akureyri on the volleyball map, the world map? Is it a good place?
At least we are trying also, like, to put the Akureyri name in Europe, right? Because we have played NEPSA, it's a European North Countries tournament, and we did a really good work because Iceland in the history has never won a set in this tournament, sorry. And the girls did a really, really good work there, winning a lot of sets, almost winning some games. It's true that, for example, the last game we should win, right? But I decided to put a lot of bench play, but that doesn't matter. And the boys, guys, we won, for example, we didn't win the tournament, but we won, for example, we won 2 games of 3, right? And we won to the team who won the tournament, right? So, and before Iceland have never won any set. So it's like a huge difference, right? So Akureyri is making something really good, or KA is making something really good for the volleyball. So
yeah, I mean, when we were there, at least I can speak for the men, like, we were competing with the top teams of, you know, Norway and Denmark and all these other countries who,
yeah, exactly,
if you listen to other people talking in Iceland, oh, they're stronger there, the level was greater. But to me, I felt like we were just there with them, or even a better team, so.
Exactly.
And this is naturally the next step for KA when it is beating all other teams, both the women's side and the men's side, to go to other countries and test for the next level of volleyball.
Exactly, because the truth is Icelandic league in volleyball is not pretty strong. We are lucky because there's like 2-3 teams strong in volleyball, but the question is like go to other country and test, like, okay, what is our level? What is our real level about Europe? And we went there and we saw, and the people, like the other team was like, okay, congratulations, because Iceland now can compete against us. Because before was like, okay, we are playing against the Icelandic team, it's a friendly game, right? We can put all the bench play and we are going to win really easy. But now it wasn't like this. Everybody was scared like, oh, we are unlucky, the Icelandic KA team is in our group. So huge difference. And hopefully we'll stay like this in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mateo, if you take us through the training weekend for the women's team, how is it? Because it's not only about the players, it must be a little bit about what you're putting into the team practice.
Like I said, we are working a lot about... my goal was like, okay, I'm going to try to show them how is play professional, how is to follow a tactic, like we are going to play like this, we are going to try to break the weak points of the other team, right? And we were practicing like this to follow always a plan, to have always something, like, okay, we are going to do this for this, and after that, the good thing is that it was happening always. So the play was like, okay, it's working, this is working, and they were like all the time with better attitude to come to the practice and keep learning, right? Also, we are doing a really good workout, right? Because they weren't get used to like, okay, you need to be in a good shape if you want to be a professional volleyball player, or at least to show the best. So, like you said, was everything together, right? And also when you are winning, you want more, right? If you are doing all of these kind of things and after you are losing, but we were winning. So it's like, they felt like, okay, we are doing everything and it's working. So I want more. And this is I think that's the difference about this huge change between last year and this year.
How major factor would you say the tactics are in volleyball?
It's pretty important, especially when we went to play in this higher competition, Nesva. We had to think, a lot about what we were doing and what we, like who was spiking in what moments, what sort of tactics are we using in defense, here in Iceland, we know more or less all the players in the other teams. So now it allows us to really come up with more of a plan based on the other teams. Whether we're playing Hauka or Afturölding, we sort of know what they're trying to do, and we try our best to counter that and just play to our strengths and also play against their weaknesses. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like for example, we do a lot like I said, when there's weak team and they only have 2 players, they are always more or less doing the same. But for example, when you begin to improve about the level, right, you begin to study, okay, if you send the ball here, they are 80% doing this kind of things, right? Or this player in this situation with a stress situation, like in a difficult point, is always doing this. So you begin to study these things and work against these things. And because all the players in the world, right, when we are stressed, we always do the same. More or less 80%. So you work to get this 80%. The other 20, okay, no worries. And this is how I'm working, like choosing. We're going to choose to get this 80. The other 20 doesn't matter, no worries. We will win if we stop this 80. I'm working like this.
Yeah, definitely. Time goes fast when you're talking about your sport, and our time is done. Thank you so much for coming to the show, and we wish you the good luck in the 3rd title this year.
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah, it's our pleasure, and thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Og takk áhorfendur kærlega fyrir áhorfið í þessum þætti. Við sjáumst í næstu viku.
Komdu og sjáðu vorlínuna frá Bertóni. Þátturinn í boði Djós.